Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. It's not going to be too much talking in this video. It's a POV real-time polishing video. We've done a previous one where we cut this wing, and I've cut all along here now. I'm not doing the bottom bit. It's only, I'm taking out machine marring from the body shop that's only on this top piece here. This has been cut once, and now we're going to be refining it. And this is kind of like my test. And then if I'm happy with the results, I'll move on and do the bonnet, the other wing, and then the bumper later on. Now, I'm ready to go with my Flex 3401, with my M302, and we will be doing IPA inspection wipe downs. And I've got all my gear here. Really, like I say, these first few are just I'm recording them, then the camera is going off because, you know, I just want to get on with the polishing. So let's get. Sorry, I'm wiggling around. I'm just going to stick this on my head now, guys, and hopefully there's a good angle there for you to see what's going on. The problem is I can't see what you're seeing, so hopefully this is a good angle. Now let me know in the comments if this is a good angle. But by the time I've edited it, if it's not a good angle, it'll be too late. Let me just make sure I'm recording as well. Yes, we're recording. Okay guys, so camera on head, and I really hope I've got a good angle here. I've got everything I need. I'm braking. I don't know what you can see where this is pointing, but I'm going to break this. It's two sections. This section here, then this section here, and I'm going to do this one here for the live polishing. It's just got a little bit more of an intricate area in there, so you'll see. Now some of you might choose to tape over that piece and that piece. I don't really need to, is the long story. I'm not going to damage it if I polish over there. There's a risk of just cramming some polish, but I'm not using enough polish to really cram, so I'll just make sure once I've finished polishing this, I tidy all this up, get all the polish off. So here hopefully you can see how much I'm going to be using. I'm just going to shake this vigorously. I've used this whole bottle up now, so I've got the good idea. These are great products, these Koch H9 abrasives, they really are. So we're just going to do smaller amounts, as long as, so like little tiny dots really. As long as we can form a film of this abrasive over the area that we're polishing, then we're good. So we're going to go from here. It's just dabbing it out just helps us spread the fresh product, so when we go over it we know we're working fresh product. Okay, I don't, you know, well, let's just do it. So we put it on speed 1 and we'll just make an even thinner film, okay? Okay, that's even better. So we just got a nice, hopefully you can see that thin film. And now I'm going to stick this machine on about 4.5, and we're going to polish, and we're going to take our time. This part is very important. You know, this makes the paint look lovely, and it's so easy to do these finishing polishes. So let's just get stuck in. You can see what I'm doing, and hopefully that will be self-explanatory. So there's, hopefully guys you can see what I'm seeing here. It's just so easy. It's just so easy. You know, nothing, there's no dusting or anything like that. I'm using these Interdetailing 350 Koreans. They are the cheapest. I've talked about them a lot. They are just lovely soft cloths, and they're the cheapest Korean cloths that you can buy. And if you buy, I think 5 of them, the price drops down to $165. Is it a cloth? I don't know, something like that. Very, very cheap, but lovely and soft. And look, I'm going to take this off my head, so you can kind of see what I'm seeing. All I'm doing is just wiping in gentle circles, very gently now, because this is my like final kind of polishing pass. No pressure, just letting the cloth scoop up all of that kind of polish. And just being mindful, like I said over here, we want to just make sure we rub the polish off there. There's no sort of, it's not crammed in, or, you know, because we don't use too much polish. So it's all good. And then we're just going to wipe down. You know, this is like a set piece, and this set piece of the 3401 with the H9 heavy cutting compound on the orange Lake Country pads, which you can't buy anymore, and the M301 finishing polish, that set piece will cope with pretty much anything. There are some scenarios where you get this rock hard modern clear coat on some of the German cars, and if that's heavily swirled up, even with the 3401, that might be a bit of a headache. That might be the only time this set piece will frustrate you, when you're trying to compound out. You might want a rotary for those scenarios. Apart from that, 99% of all polishing, cutting and finishing scenarios that you will face, this combo can cope with it. Now, if you're interested in getting the 3401, you can't now use the combo that I would use. So I would suggest you just get the latest polisher, which is the XCE, which runs on the 125mm plates, and you run it with Flex's, where the hell are they? Here, Flex's purple 150mm pads that fit on 125mm plates. So you do purple with the H9, and you would do the Flex oranges with the M3. You do also, so let's just go through the colour coding of the pads if you're not sure. Heavy cut green, medium cut purple, finishing, you know, polishing orange, soft finishing is the dual foam red. Okay, so you have 4 colours. You do not need to default to the green pads for cutting. They're very aggressive, the green pads. The green pads also have these cuts in them. You can see there. And I do not like those cuts, because the surface of the pad, you can even see it there, distorts more. And the purple pad, for example, that doesn't have the green, doesn't have the cuts in them, doesn't distort at all, because you're losing the integrity of the surface structure. I know it sounds like bullshit, but it's absolutely true if you just think about it. If you put loads of slices in the surface of that foam, you get loads of little squares which aren't kind of attached to the sides, so they move around a lot more. So, you know, it sounds like bullshit, but it's not bullshit. I don't like the cuts in those pads, and I know Flex will say, well, it's there for cooling, you know, the airflow and all that keeps cool. It just doesn't make any difference from what I can see, guys. And I've got all the heat temperature thing. It doesn't make any difference. What I can see is the pad deforms a lot quicker with those slices in them. Just wish they weren't there. But I'm going to make a bold statement now. This Flex purple pad is one of the best on the market in terms of durability. It just keeps going and going and going. If you hammer a pad, especially on a rotary, or not even, in fact, not especially on a rotary, even on a dual action polisher, you're going to hammer the pads more. What happens is the surface starts now to, most of them have sorted out the backing being good, not being the first point of failure, although some of them they might do. But if you hammer a pad, the surface starts to crumble and delaminate first. And these are the longest lasting pads that I've seen so far, the Flex purples. The disadvantage is they cost more. I think they're about 11, 12 quid, and you can get some very good pads for 7 to 8 quid. So you're paying about 4 quid more, but I don't know, they're just really, really, really good pads. I don't think I'm letting the cat out the bag by saying that they seem to be the same foam as the Shoal concept stuff. All these pads here, I mean the purples are virtually identical. Ironically, the Shoal concepts have put the cuts in the purple pad, which I don't want. So I go with the flex pads because the range is more simple. They're a little bit cheaper as well, and they just work. They're designed to mount and fit all of the flex machines. So that's what I'm using, guys. I hope that's useful for you. Flex machines comboed up with flex pads is actually a really good combination. And to keep it very simple, you can do virtually all cutting, all one staging on purple pads, and all polishing on orange pads, and just have two. They have the red and the green are there for a reason. So there's people screaming at the screen saying, no, you need the green. I'm just trying to simplify it a little bit for guys at home. So orange for cutting or single staging with H9, and purple for cutting or single staging with H9, or F6 if you want a single stage, and orange or red for polishing or finishing with M302, and you are pretty much covered for every single scenario. And that's, you know, I've got lots of abrasives here, guys. I was chatting to the PVD or the Pro Detailer guys about abrasives and stuff like that. You can use any of them really to get results, can't you? Of course you can. Of course you can. They're not, you know, none of these companies are going to produce abrasives that just are shockingly bad. So some of you prefer Menzerna. I love the Menzerna finishing polishes. I understand that. Some of you like the Shoal concepts. The Shoal concepts are thicker, in my opinion, more oily abrasives that are very forgiving and easy to use. Some of you like the new Zvisa ones are fantastic. They really are quality abrasives. Very easy to understand, the Zvisa line, you know, mixed color, all color coded, very good quality abrasives, very, very cost effective pads. Ian was telling me about the flat pads. He really likes them, the really thin ones, because he just finds he gets more control with them, and they're about 4 or 5 quid each, as opposed to some that are north of £10. So yeah, there's a lot of people moving over to the Zvisa ones. The Ferrecla, the super fast cut system, real kind of body shop stuff, that is as good to use a heavy cutting compound as any of them. It's just very, very aggressive, and it's designed for, it sounds obvious, but super fast finishing. These are these big yellow bottles, so you get those on your rotary, and you hit them with a bit of pressure, work them very quickly, then level out, back out with the pressure as it starts to break down, and just work it, or else you risk buffer trailing. Buffer trails are a massive risk, aren't they, even with rotary polishers. If in doubt, you could finish out. I think a lot of the reason body shops are doing it wrong, like I said in other videos, is they're taking the most aggressive compounds to really give them the maximum amount of cutting after they've laid down clear coat. And they're working those a little bit too hard and too fast on dirty pads. And they're not seeing it because of the filling properties of all these oils when you polish. I'm thinking out loud here. You know, there's lots of simple solutions to that. Working with clean pads is really important. That is really important. You know, you're essentially, what you're doing here is removing materials. You're flattening clear coat at a kind of microscopic level by removing material. And the more of that material that you allow to build up in pads, the more, you know, the less effective your polishing is. Like when you're sanding and you've got a grip pad that's full up with crap, it just doesn't work. And you're actually just kind of just wiping all the residue, all the material you've removed over the surface, and you're just going to be generating heat and scratching rather than actually removing material efficiently. It sounds like a load of old nonsense, but it isn't. It's just a long-winded way of saying it's very important to clean your pads. You know, and swapping them out and stuff like that, cycling pads and all that sort of stuff. Just makes it so easy. I'm going to be using, to give you a rough idea, 2 cutting pads to do all of this, possibly 3. and probably 2 or 3 polishing pads. So I'm going to now go ahead and polish this side of the wing, this little section, and then I'm going to black this place out and inspect carefully, and if I'm happy with the results, I know I can then go ahead and move that on to the rest of the car. Hopefully this POV video on polishing was useful for you. If you've got any questions, put them in the descriptions. Don't ask me any questions about products, direct questions about products to the brand that make those products, okay? Because I don't have the bandwidth to field all the questions over all of the different videos, and a lot of times I'm going to search for the answer for you. So, you know, try and keep product questions at brands. Anything about technique or what products to use, by all means fire them at me. Please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget the Patreon page, which is going really well. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye for now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?